What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Thank you guys for checking out another workout video. I covered a lot of things in this workout video, a lot of things that I don't usually do. For example, you guys, as you guys will see at the end of my workout, um I actually did some tricep exercises that I never do, mainly because I feel like it's always good to trick your body and help your body to not adapt to certain exercises, and in that way, you help prevent plateaus, and like you help you help sort of activate, stimulate the muscle in a different way. This workout, I didn't even really focus on getting a pump as much. A pump is not always like the number one thing to achieve in a workout. The thing you want to do when during your workout is you actually want to make sure you stimulate your muscle. It's all about muscle stimulation, and muscle growth depends on how well you stimulate the muscle. A muscle pump can happen by doing 100 reps of like 5 pounds. I mean, you're gonna feel like a really solid pump, but it's not actually gonna build muscle. That pretty much does nothing for you. You will feel a good pump, but it's not actually good for the long run. And that's just a personal thing. That's just how I feel. I like to do exercises that I feel target my muscle. If I don't feel like an exercise targets my muscle, I will usually avoid that exercise. Not because I'm unable to perform that exercise, but mainly because I feel that's a personal preference, and I don't feel like it works for me. I do what works for me, and with that, I that's how I make my gains, right? Every now and then, like I said before, I like to step out of my domain and try something new, just to stimulate my muscle in another way. I don't like my body to adapt to the same exercises that I do, because that leaves you stagnant and just basically leads to a plateau. So I started off with some hammer curls. Usually I start off with some barbell curls. I took a break from that today because my wrists were feeling really tight and sore, so I decided to just switch it up. I started off with I think 40 pounds of hammer curls. Um, I hit those throughout, and then I superset with some tricep extensions, kick some tricep kickbacks. The thing about tricep kickbacks is, for me personally, it's one of those exercises that you can't use really heavy weight. You gotta go a lot lighter than you usually would. I like to do the I don't really like to do the kickbacks because I feel like I don't really get a good contraction and a good squeeze with that exercise. Um, Even though I did give it a shot this workout, I wanted to see how well it could do. Um, it didn't end up too bad. I mean, use minimal weight, but you get a little bit of stimulation here and there. Not the best. I wouldn't recommend doing that exercise looking to build like big triceps. I also was unable to film my close grip bench press. I did 4 sets. Started off with 45 on each side. I moved up to That was 45 on each side for my first set. I hit I think 65 on each side for my second set, and then I did uh, 2 sets of 75 on each side. I don't like to go too heavy on that because again I like to focus on my contraction, as opposed to my weight. And here's the thing, it doesn't even really matter how much weight you use. It all depends on if you're achieving your goals, and you achieve your goals in a way that you don't have to use heavy weight, then why would you have to use heavy weight? You know, it all depends on if you can't lift heavy weight properly, don't do it. It's just gonna lead you to injury. It's gonna make you look stupid, and it's just gonna help you. It's just a negative process. So me personally, I just like to stick to what my power range is. I like to focus on whatever I feel comfortable with. Every now and then I like to go a little heavy, especially on my compound movements. Exercises like tricep kickbacks, dumbbell curls, skull crushers. I don't really like to go that heavy personally. I like to get more of a squeeze, and I like to feel the muscle contract more. For your biceps, it's your bicep being such a small muscle, you don't really need that much, especially if you're natural. And I'm talking from a natural perspective. If you're natural and you're training your biceps, I mean, it's such a small muscle. You don't really need that much, like you don't really need that much volume. Like you should train it, hit that 4 sets per exercise, 3 exercises, 4 sets. That's about 12. Sorry, not 12, but you catch my drift. So you've got your three main exercises: your barbell curls, your dumbbell curls, and your hammer curls, and you're doing 4 sets. So 4 sets of 3 exercises. That's not necessarily high volume, but it's good enough for it's good enough to stimulate the muscle to the best of its ability. And if you're natural, you want to take every precaution, and it's really tough to train naturally because you have so many setbacks, and it's very hard to actually grow. Your dieting has to be on point. Your training has to be on point. Without proper form, like I know in some of my clips here, my hammer curl form was pretty off, especially when I went really heavy with the 65s. But you know even though my form looked odd, like the way I felt doing the exercise, like I felt my bicep only being worked. So I didn't really feel any of my other body parts come into play during that movement. So for me, that's good. But for you guys watching, you may seem a little iffy. But I know how I felt during that exercise. Like I felt my bicep only going to work. Uh, my favorite tricep exercises would have to be the row pushdowns, mainly because I feel like you get a full range of motion, and I also like the tricep pushdowns using the bar. Those two are probably like my bread and butter when it comes to triceps, and of course the close grip bench press. I did close grip bench press during this workout, but I didn't get to film that. Um, so I like to I like to train arms every now and then. I feel like it's not necessary, especially again, I always bring up the fact that if you're natural, it's a whole nother ball game. You can't always train your biceps. Some days after your back day, your biceps are going to be sore. And I mean, if your biceps are fried after your back day, you can't like you won't be able to give it a full workload, right? You're just gonna lead to like an injury, or stop your muscle growth. You overtraining. And for those of you guys that are natural, and for those of you guys that are not taking anything else, you know, overtraining is a major problem. Like there is a such thing as overtraining, despite what anybody tells you. There's a huge overtraining is a problem. It doesn't matter if people say there's no such thing as overtraining. When you're on the juice, there is no such thing as overtraining, because you're constantly in an anabolic state, right? Like when you're natural, you're there's only certain times of the day where you're most anabolic, and there's some parts of the day where you're actually so catabolic that if you don't have the proper nutrition for those to fuel yourself during those parts of the day, you're actually at your muscle mass is actually at a really high risk. So you want to make sure that you got everything down packed in that aspect. um uh the workout you guys are seeing here, it's not usually my bread and butter. It's not like what I usually do. I like to do pretty standard movements. I don't really like to do these kind of movements. I like to do the strict barbell curls, um dumbbell curls, like standing dumbbell curls, which I did do in this video. But I usually never do the seated barbell curls. I find like it minimizes my the amount of weight I can use. Like I know I can go heavy on my curls,